I do believe that, you give people an opportunity, and Jones just seemed to just stand out. I said, you're incredible. I said, you're a man of promise. And, he kept speaking in class and doing his work. And I said, let me tell you how amazing you are. I said, you're so amazing that you're going to go and speak with me on the 9th. And he's like, what? I was like, yes, But I do believe that he has some things that he can share with all of you as we move forward. So I just want to kind of go back as we think about tonight. First of all, the title for tonight is, Psst, are you listening? And it goes deeper than that title, like thinking about what does that even mean? Like, why did Dr. Lewis choose that title? And we're going to really get into it. But I want to start out right away with our red paper clip. So how many of you were not here for the last session when we talked about the red paper clip? Was there anybody not here? Okay, great. So let me just talk about the red paper clip for a moment. So the red paper clip was basically a game that this guy played many years ago, and he called it Bigger and Better. And he traded a red paper clip, and he would trade it up for something bigger and better. And he kept trading it up. He kept trading it up and trading up the next thing until finally he ended up with a house just by trading. And I thought, wow, this is absolutely amazing. So I've been using that same concept in many different talks and trainings and workshops around the world using this bigger and better. So when we met back in August, everyone that was here received a red paper clip. And the goal was for you to trade it up for bigger and better. Now, what happens is there's usually certain groups of people that do different things with the red paper clip. And so I really want you to be honest because there's a reason for this. First of all, I want to know the people who forgot about the whole thing. Like when you left, you said, oops, I just forgot. Who forgot about the red paper clip? Okay, so everybody remembered. All right. So the next one is, right. So that was one group. So right now it sounds like there's no one in here who forgot about it. Like, oops, I forgot to even do it, right? Now there's another group that remembered about it, but just didn't get around to doing it. All right, I appreciate that. Didn't get around to doing it. I got it. Then there is this third group. There's actually 4 groups. So there's the third group that remembered at the last minute and found something. Yeah, you thought I wasn't going to get to that one, right? And thought of something that said, I'm going to bring this in. Okay, I appreciate the honesty. Somebody went like this, sort of, and I'm like, okay. There's a little more to it than that. Oh, I love it. Oh, we're going to talk. Okay. Then the fourth group is that you did it. You jumped in there and you started doing it. You may not have did it every single day, every single moment, but you were going through it until you were able to bring something in here tonight. All right. So this is really exciting. So, all right. So we're going to talk about that. I want to hear what people got out of it. And then what are we going to do next? But first, I want to hear from some of you that actually traded yours. Take us on the journey. Who wants to tell us your journey? So don't show us what you got yet. Just start going through the journey and saying, okay, I got that red paper clip and this is kind of what I went through. And then boom, this is what I got. So who wants to share with what they did?
My husband would love to.
Don't you just gotta love her? Gotta love her. Okay, now you have to project really loud, or you can take this mic. Okay, is that gonna be okay if he just says it loud? Okay.
Before 7-year-old daughter will not let us. So he can tell you the rest of what it is. So
Oh, all right.
we came to an abrupt halt only because our daughter said, I'm keeping this and we're not trading it for anything else.
Okay, all right.
No, not pony.
So, yeah, we got off to a really good start. I mean, I'm not a very good speaker. I'm very shy, so going up to strangers is not something I would normally do.
Love it.
So it kind of, it opened you up as far as you had an excuse, and when you told somebody the story, then they kind of understood what you were talking about. They got excited about it too. So the first thing we did was, we were just at a gas station, I was talking, and this guy asked me as far as, because I was starting talking to the guy at the counter, as far as, the guy, and I said, well, I don't have anything to trade you, but I'll buy you a pack of gum. So he bought a pack of juicy fruit, and we traded. And then the guy behind him in line said, well, I need some gum, I'll trade you this pin that I've got, you know, for the gum. So I'm like, well, there's two really easy ones right there, as far as in just a few minutes. And that was within the first few days. I should have wrote down what days we did this, but, so then, I had the pin, I just always carried it with me. We decided that we weren't going to do it separate because we didn't want to make it a competition. Because we didn't want one of us doing better than the other.
Yes.
Which might have happened.
Which was a good one.
So I had the pin with me, and I went to Home Depot, and there was this guy who was trying to write down whatever he needed for trying to measure something or whatever. And so he had a tape measure, and I needed a tape measure. And I said, well, I'll give you the pin, you can keep it, I'm not going to borrow it. I need to keep the tape measure, so I basically kept the tape measure and swapped that out for the pin. So
Right.
it worked out well. And then her brother came over one day, and he's like, I need a tape measure to go measure something. I'm like, well, this is the perfect thing. I'm not going to loan something to you that you'll never bring back as usual. And I'm like, but I need something for this in trade. And so he's like, well, I just bought this little like manicure little set or whatever for his daughter. I said, okay, great, I'll trade you for that. Because then I knew the next person that we could go to was his daughter. And found, hey, you want this, right? It's for a little manicure set. And she's like, yes, what do you want for it? I'm like, well, whatever stuffed animal that you don't think you need. And so that was the trade there. And then we brought the stuffed animal home, and our daughter's like, I want that. I've always wanted that. It's always been hers.
It's her cousin's, and she's like, I want Collins's panda. And so now she will not let us trade it.
So now
So
we gotta
ours
figure out-
came to
A stop.
a stop. So we need to try it again because we don't want to end up with just a panda.
I love it. I love it because there's going to be people who say, this is where I want to stop, and I've got something for that as well. That was fantastic. Let's give them a hand. All right, somebody else. I'd love to hear it. Oh, yes. Okay.
My first trade, I met up with a lady, and I traded for a book and a t-shirt, like a shirt, it's like a brand new, like had the tags on it and stuff, the shirt. So then I traded the book for like handmade like bag to just like put, you know, chapsticks or whatever in. So then I traded and this is all like on on the Nextdoor app. So then I traded the book for, it was a brand new 80th or something, 90th anniversary Snap-on screwdriver set. And it was valued at like $400, which is crazy. I was like, oh man, this is so cool, I don't even know what to do. And so then I traded that for a big old box of like these angel figurines that's valued like about $600 maybe. And I still have the angel figurines. I haven't traded the shirt yet. So if anybody wants a shirt or angel figurines, I have the whole box in the back of my truck and they're super pretty. They're called Seraphim Classics and it has like literally the whole collection. But I did keep one of the angels because its name was Rachel, and that's my name, so I did keep it, and I have it in my little thing as a little reminder of, you know, the paperclip experiment. But angels, if anybody wants them to trade, you know, I have literally a whole entire box of them, and I can trade piece by piece or the whole box. I've already set up a trade, one trade so far here at this meeting, and Deborah, if she decides that she still wants to give me her paperclip for these angels, then I'll still give them to her. Just, it wasn't in a timely manner that the trade was made.
Because I might want to trade.
Yes,
I might
trade.
bigger.
Here, I'll show you. This is one of them, but I have like a whole collection of them in the back of my truck.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good, man.
They're all wrapped up in everything. So, yeah. There's like literally a humongous box of them. So, yeah. If anybody's interested, they're in the back of my truck. I'll open it like an overcoat. You guys can just go through there.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, I know that for myself, I consider myself very calm, quiet, nice until it comes to this red paper clip. So I had the red paper clip, and when I took it home, it was probably a couple days later or whatever. My mother, her pants were just too big, and I says, "Mom, you need something to hold your pants together." And she goes, "Well, I don't have a safety pin." I said, "Well, I have a paper clip." And she's like, "A paper clip?" I said, "Yeah, you really need this paper clip to keep your pants together." And she was like, "Are you kidding? Okay, then give me the paper clip." I said, "No." And she's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "No, unless you have something to trade for it." She's like, "Are you kidding me? We are on our way out the car to go to church. You didn't tell me before we left. And now you're trying to tell me that I have to trade? Well, what am I supposed to trade for?" I was like, "I don't know. Look in your purse." So we're both digging in her purse, and she had some gum. It's for some reason, gum always seems to come in it, So she gave me a stick of gum. And I was like, "All right, that's perfectly fine." So we're inside, and my sister's, whispering at me, because we always talk in church, which we're not supposed to, but we do anyway. And she's like, "Give me a pen." I said, "What?" "Give me a pen." I said, "What do you want?" She said, "Give me a pen." I said, "I'm not giving you a pen. You give me a pen." And she's like, "I don't have a pen." I said, "Well, I got a stick of gum." And she's like, "What?" I said, "Well, then just, here, do you want the gum?" And she's like, "Yeah." I said, "But you got to trade for something." She was like, "What?" So we got this thing going on, and I could see our pastor at the front like, "What is she doing? You guys are talking, And so then she ends up giving me some paper. So I have the paper, and I give her the gum, and she's in there just chewing. And then I asked for half of it back, because I was like, before you eat it all, give me half, because I don't have any. So she gives me half a piece of gum. I go ahead and chew that, but then I now have this pad of paper. So then I'm at school, and there's somebody there. They said, I got to put a note on my door, because I have to go ahead and, put it on there that I won't be in my office, don't disturb or something. So I did a trade with them. They ended up giving me a really nice pen. And this pen, I was like, man, I kind of want to keep it. It was sparkly. It did all kinds of stuff. You could touch pad on your phone. And I had that for quite some time. And I was inside of this store in Chapel Hills. And the lady in there, she was behind the counter. And I was like, oh, my gosh. I said, I just love this plant. And this plant. I was like, this is a really cool plant. And it had a pineapple on it. And she goes, yeah, it's a pineapple plant. I said, there's pineapples in Colorado? And she's like, yeah, And I was like, oh, I really would love to have that plant. And so I was really excited, and she switched out with me. I got the pineapple plant. It's been sitting at my house, and I was excited because I was going to bring it with the pineapple on it. And it started turning yellow, like it was ready to be eaten. I was like, I got to chop the pineapple off. So I chopped the pineapple off, but it is a pineapple plant that will grow. So ta-da, there it is. Yeah, so it's just really different. So Jones, I have a question for you. So come on up, and we're talking about this, and you're hearing the journey, like people are doing all of this. Mm-hmm. You're also in my class, communication. Right. What skills do you hear them using in all of this?
Well, we learn about listening and also awareness of our audience.
Yeah.
How they communicate and accept the message that we're trying to send it out, involving to solve the problems, either their problem, at the same time it will go both ways.
Yes.
To have that communication, to come out with a good result or good consequences.
I love that. And that is exactly what this is all about. It's about communication. And this is the reason why I was having you do this. It's about building your communication skills in a really unique way, which isn't always easy. And so what were some of the difficulties, and stay here because I got to ask you something else. So what were some of the difficulties in doing this? Did anybody feel, was there anything that made this exercise difficult or uncomfortable?
Yes. I've just always been the type of person who, if somebody needs something and I have something, I don't usually find myself saying, well, what will you give me in return? So that was a struggle for me. I did it, but it was not particularly pleasant for me the whole time, just asking for something in return and stuff. If I saw somebody needing something that I had, it's not usually my way of going about things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, you know, asking for things isn't always easy to do. And I get it because you're a giver.
Yeah.
Got it. Somebody else said, oh, yeah, who was it? Yes.
Me.
Go ahead.
You said a challenge.
Uh-huh.
With the entire, I guess, paper clip challenge was time management.
Oh, time management.
I know we have 5 kids.
Okay, okay.
Twins, and so, and I don't leave the house often. I work from home, and so he leaves the house a lot. And so, just getting into a space where we were trying to figure out the time management, and then also even remember to participate because I don't get out the house often. Was
Right.
a big challenge. But now it's at the forefront of my mind, and hopefully throughout the next year we'll be able to really put the rubber to the road.
Absolutely, absolutely. So time management is another challenge. Yes, and then I'm coming to you.
Discouragement because I put it on Craigslist and the guy emailed me back and said, "You're a child, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm not a child." He said, "This is a childish thing, you need to get off." So I discouraged him. So.
Yes, being discouraged is another. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, I always grew up as a kid, my parents told me not to talk to strangers. So that's the hardest thing. Not just the fear of, talking to somebody.
stranger danger,
It's stranger danger. No, but I get
I
it.
give her a lot of credit as far as doing it online and meeting people as far as because there's a lot of weird people out there that, as far as that would be uncomfortable to me.
Absolutely. Wow, this is really, really powerful. Yes.
Yeah, similarly, that was really hard for me to get outside of my box. I didn't do it because it stressed me out. I had too many other things going on. And that would have been like a new acquired skill to just go out to strangers and ask them for something in return and to be comfortable with meeting with strangers, which is not where I was at. I can speak in front of strangers. I can meet with clients. I mean, I'm resourceful. I can find people I need for my kids. But that piece of it, I couldn't quite overcome with all the other things I had going on in my life. And so I really kind of froze when it came to figuring out how do I even get this process started.
Right.
Yeah, it just was not in there. And I didn't want to exchange things with people. Like, my ears are always perked for what does this person need? What do I have at home to fill their needs? How do I know how to get them what they need? How can I connect them with the resource they need? But to ask them to trade with me is a really hard thing.
Yes, it is not easy to do. What's your thoughts around this, Jones? When you're hearing the struggles that people have, think about public speaking. Think about what you have been doing, Talk about it a little bit.
First of all, it comes what is inside of you, the willingness. How do you set up that stage? Are you willing to take the challenge? And it takes some time to have that thought. What's in front of you. And are you going to move forward? Are you going to take it and move on with it? Or are you going to stop there and sit there and say, you know what? With all the thoughts that comes to our mind at the time, but listen to all the testimony. Man, you take that challenge well. And because it brings growth, it inspires you as you go. It really inspires you. The more reward, the more you step forward, baby step, the more reward. It really inspires you mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Yes, yes,
It
yes.
builds from inside. The belief system, your belief system. And mostly, that's why a lot of people, they get stuck. I have experience. That's why I'm speaking from experience. The mindset of being stuck, to be a victim, to stay there and keep crying and say, it's too much problem here. I'm trying to do this here, the project here, but the children, the bills and the job and all the challenge that comes. The marriage here and all these challenges, why are you trying to do this? So the question is, how do you build this? And that's where you discover the true self of yours.
Yes.
This is where you could come.
So when you, I think that's fantastic. Let's give him a hand because listening to you, I'm just like, you know, here we are, we're in the U.S. And one thing I know in the U.S. is if you don't sound a certain way,
Right.
if you don't look a certain way,
Right.
if you're tall, then there's challenges there too.
Too many.
Yes. Have you experienced any of that?
First of all, I'm from American Samoa. And it's a U.S. territory.
Yep.
Small little island from the Pacific, right in the middle of the Pacific. And when I arrive here, it's a lot of people, they ask me, hey, you got an accent? And I say, yes, I'm Samoan. And they say, well, yeah, that's why I was trying to ask you, you're from Hawaii or, but the mindset that I had, I accepted myself.
Come on now.
That's my identity. You know, in the spiritual world, you know, the spiritual side, God created me on that image as a Samoan. So my question is, you know, at the same time, I don't see it, I don't have to paint anything for my character. I have to accept myself. And that's why I like Muhammad Ali. He always says, I'm beautiful. Whoever you are. You know, I've been watching him when I was young, boxing, and his words, he said, accept yourself. And a lot of people stuck because they don't accept themselves. It's not about the color of the skin. We are human beings created equally. And do you really accept yourself? And it's all from the mind. Because the mind, the power of the mind, that it will bring the energy to your hands. It gives vision then, and also it brings dreams to you. And then your body will fall. You always fall.
Come on now.
And then you accomplish things.
Yeah.
And it's all from the mind. And then if you put it in the spiritual side too, the thoughts that we have is the challenge, the real challenge. And Dr. Lewis, it's about 2 months, almost 5. This is the 3rd person of my family being passed away of the COVID-19. But Dr. Lewis always texts me, Jones, keep on. You know, don't get stuck, you know. So here I am, I'm here. I'm just follow her directions. And I said, I'm not gonna get stuck. I gotta go out there and do exactly what she said.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's powerful. So Jones had many reasons. Thank you for sharing that because, you know, he had many reasons to get stuck or to stop. And we do that because something that he said that was key, it's here in your mind. What is it that you're telling yourself? What is it that you believe? Because whatever you believe, you will achieve, whether it's negative or positive. And what are you going to do differently? So this whole exercise was to get you out of your comfort zone and to realize that you're going to have to get used to being uncomfortable, whether it's with strangers or accepting something or asking something in return. You know, when you start thinking about time management is a bear, especially with everything that's going on. But the big question is, how are you going to get there? There is wherever your future story is. So I don't know if all of you have something to write with. You might have to trade up. But on the table is paper. Oh, she's got a pad over here. But in the middle of the table is some paper. Go ahead and grab a paper. There's a marker. No, I'm just looking for my bag. Yeah, that would be perfect. Okay. On this piece of paper, I want you to write 3 lines, 3 vertical lines. 3 vertical lines. One more. Yes, just one more. Okay, on the 3rd line, so the line, if you, all the way to the right side, I want you to put a star at the top. I want you to place a star at the top. Star at the top. That star is your future. This is your future story. So write down future story. And I want you to start thinking about your future. What does it look like? What is it that you want? I don't care how big it is. You get to decide what is your future story. And you're going to have a lot of stuff. You know, if you kept writing, you just keep writing, keep writing. But at some point, you have to decide on something. What does that look like? Then you have to figure out, what is it going to take to get there? What are the things that's going to make you get stuck in that place that won't allow you to get to your future story? What we do is, with something as simple as a paper clip, is telling to anything else that we handle in life and how we get to that future story. So we go to the first line. That first line, I want you to just put like zigzags all the way down it, like this. Just zigzags. And somewhere on there, I want you to put on there the beaten path. The beaten path. The beaten path is where you are right now. It is where you're used to being, where you can find whatever it is that you need, how you operate. You know, if you need to borrow something, you know where to go get it. You know the routine to get back and forth to wherever you're trying to go. And however you've been, it's pretty much working on that path. But you got to ask yourself, how is that helping you get to your future story? There are some things that can. For instance, there could be some people that would say, listen, I know you got 5 kids. Girl, look, I'm tired with one. I'm just saying. But I will say this. They're there to say, listen, I got you. You need to go do this? I got you. And it could be your husband. It could be your parent. It could be a friend. It could be anybody, even if they only gave you an hour. Somebody. Because somebody's going to be willing to let you stand on their shoulders. Some people are going to give up their resources and what they have so that you can get to your future stories. But when you do, don't forget those people. You got to go back and get them. What is it going to take? You know, I had people, you know, we're always thinking, yeah, well, you know, they can give me a cup of sugar. They could do that. Get the ones that are really going to be there. And it's going to make a difference in your life. But you got to go to this second place. This is the scary place. That's the one I just want you to just start putting some question marks all the way down and just put some question marks. And on that, what I want you to write is path least traveled. The path least traveled. That's what makes it so scary. You know, what's your name right here?
Kathy.
Kathy?
Yes.
Kathy, when you were trading up and you were like, I don't feel comfortable asking. you're on this path, the beaten path, you give. To get to that place where you're now asking is getting on that path least traveled. When you talk about strangers, it's like, I'm used to talking to people I know. I know what I've been taught. And now somebody wants me to go and talk to strangers. The path least traveled. It's like you have to have time to get on to this path. And so you have to figure out, where is the time? What moment do I have? Because sometimes you only have a moment to stick a toe over there. And then you got to bring it on back. But it's about being exposed to those places and those spaces. And it's not going to be comfortable. How many of you have ever heard of the fear of success? Yeah, the fear. And some people say, how can you be fearful of success? It's because it's the unknown. You're in a place that you don't even know. And guess what? You probably don't know anybody on that path. Because you got to leave behind all the people on that beaten path, at least for a moment. It's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be strange. You got to talk to strangers, even when you don't want to. But there is no way that you're going to go from the first one to the third one without going to the second one. You have to go through that. And there's a couple of people that you need along the way while you're going to try to get to that third path. You need people from the first path, because those are the people that you know. Who's going to support you? So you go to the people that you know and you talk to them. So when you're trading with a red paper clip, you go to the people you know first. You go to your kids, right? You talk to whomever it is that it's going to take at that moment. You talk to the people that you know. And as you're talking about it, then all of a sudden a stranger is going to hear you and say, hey, wait a minute, I can use this. And that is somebody who's probably already at their future story, who's now reaching back to pull you forward. These are the things that you want to realize. This is the only way that you're going to get from one place to another. If you are tired of where you are right now, what are you doing to make it different? For every single person in here who did not do this exercise, okay, so it was a red paper clip. All right, I get it. Now equate that to your life. How is that action showing up in your life? What is it that you're not doing? How about those that say, I waited, did something at the last second? Okay. How many times do you do that in life already? Already. And I'm saying, my sister, you said, listen, I got these kids. Yeah, you got them. But they're watching you. They're trying to figure out, so what do I do? Do I not have any kids? Because I'll end up right here? Or do I watch how my mother navigates through all of this and still achieves? Because that is where they learn, by watching us and what we do. And the answer is right there. That red paper clip was specific. It was to tell you exactly how you are in life. It's also teaching you, just like Jones had talked about, all of the internal stuff that you have to show up and believe in you. I asked him about his accent, his height, his skin color, not because we're trying to talk about diversity training right now, but because He had to dig into his authentic self and decide what he was going to do with it. Are you going to let it mute you? I mean, Deborah said it right. She said, if a person don't sound exactly like me, then they got an accent too. Everybody got an accent, right? And when you realize that everybody's a stranger, everybody is one that's either going to give or take, and something's going to be uncomfortable on the other side. What are you going to do? And then those of you who said, yes, I'm going to go forward, I'm going to do this. Did you know what you was going to go get? Or did you just go out there to get something? Right. Sometimes we just, right. The blind leading the blind. And we end up somewhere that maybe we didn't want to be. The last time I talked to you, I talked about writing your story or somebody else will. Think about that. If you don't write your story, somebody else will. Your boss will. Your children will. That ex will. Right? She said, you look right over at me. Somebody's going to do that. I know. It's there. What are you going to do? You get to decide who you are and how you're going to show up in this world. But it is a choice. So how is it done? I want you to grab another piece of paper. Grab another piece of paper. Every time I give these directions, people do it wrong every single time. So I'm going to try to demonstrate and see if we can't come up with it right. Okay. Step 1. So they say that the long way is considered hot dog, and the short way is the hamburger. Fold it like the hamburger. Fold it in half. A turkey burger. I'm hungry. I need some meat. Who you? Girl, don't look. I looked over and I was like, all right. All right. So you have it like this. I want the open edge facing you. So I want it down like this. So you're going to lay it down on the table with the open edge facing you. The folded edge is away from you, right? Usually that's where the first place that they get it wrong. Now, I want you to take your writing utensil and along the bottom, anywhere along the bottom, now don't do it yet till I finish explaining. I want you to put a dot. Now, let me tell you about this dot. I want it small enough so that it cannot be seen on the other side. So don't press down real hard because you don't want it to show up on the other side, but you just want a dot. Okay. Now that you've done that, I want you to take it, flip it over. I still want the open edge to you, but I want it flipped over. And I want you to pass it to your left one time. So here, I'm going to take yours. Okay. Look at him. He's getting ready. Okay. Now, don't look at it. Don't look on the other side. And I want you to pass it to your left one more time. Okay. So the bottom edge should still be open, but you should not see the dot. Is that everybody? Okay, we're good. The next thing I want you to do is take your pen. And from that open edge, don't open it up, but from that open edge, anywhere from the bottom, I want you to draw from there to this top edge. You can do it in a squiggly line, you can do it diagonal, you can do it straight, you can do it on the side, whatever you want, but I just want you to draw from one bottom side to the next. From the bottom of here to this top edge. You can do a diagonal, you can do a zigzag, you can do whatever it is that you choose to do. Let me see. Yes. Yes. Anywhere on the bottom, start from where you go to the top. You can do a diagonal. So don't lift it up, just anywhere you want. Just start anywhere here and go to the top edge, any way you want. Okay, does everybody have theirs done? Anybody confused? I know. All right. Now what I want you to do is I want you to open it. And you should see the dot on the other side. Does everybody see the dot on the other side? So wherever you ended, I want you to look from there to wherever the dot is. And I want you to draw the most direct line from where you ended to that dot. Does that make sense? Turn it over.
Turn it over?
No, turn it over.
Okay.
From here, where's the dot? Yeah, so draw from here to there. Yep, there you go. I gotta find another way to teach this. The dot should have been right here. There it is. So draw from here to the dot. Everybody got it? Thank you. All right. All right. Okay, so you guys got it like this? All right, thank you. All right. So let me tell you what this is. Where you started drawing before you got to the dot, because the dot represents your goal. So where you started drawing, before you knew where the dot was, some of you were quite a ways away, or you were meandering, some was making curly cues, and that's us in life. When we don't know where we're going, when we don't have a goal, when we don't have a future story. But the moment you set a goal, the moment that you know what the future story is the moment that you can get a direct path straight there. Does that make sense? Look at it. She's like, yo, give it a snap. Yes. That's what it's about. What is your future story? If you don't set it up, you won't get there. And if you say that you can't, guess what? You won't. You're exactly right. Yes. If you say that you can, you will. But it's going to take some skills, and we're going to be talking about those skills in a moment. But we're going to return back to the red paper clip. There were some amazing things that I heard. Who you spoke to, how you got what you got, how it stretched you, how uncomfortable it could be. But guess what? It didn't stop you. You kept going. So it's like, all right. So now I'm here. And what was really cool is there was at least 2 people that said, no, 3 people. We can trade this up. If somebody got something else, so guess what? They didn't stop. They're still looking. I still got some. And that's what you do. You can still trade right here tonight. And here's the thing. If you don't have a red paper clip, what could you trade? Anything. I mean, if you could trade a red paper clip, you sure can trade a piece of paper. I mean, you could decide for yourself what it is. So I want to take a pause for a moment. What are you going to do?
Can I go get my box out of the truck?
I love it. I love it.
No, like I can.
Oh, yeah, you sure can. Yeah. She's going to get her box. What else is anybody else going to do? Think about your life. Think about your future story. Think about that uncomfortable place. Yes. Go. Come on now. That's it. That's it. Come on. What you got? Oh, a quart. Wow. Look, y'all better get on. Okay, I'm trying not to give you the answer. What are you going to do? Uh-oh, wait a minute. Did I hear something?
I've got this amazing, lovely purse, and I'm willing to trade it with you guys tonight. It's fantastic, and I also have this beautiful desk organizer. You know what's really cool about it? You can set your computer monitor on top, and then it'll be at the right height. It's got drawers here.
Oh, hey, listen, I will trade you that for my plant.
I want a pineapple.
Oh, yes. I need this right here. Yes. Uh-oh, see, somebody's got something right there. Come on, y'all. Look at that. There's a snowman. Nobody needs a coffee maker. That's right. You go over there and get it. This, look, you better grab that piece of paper because it help your wife out. Go over and get that Toreg. Or go get something. Go get it. Don't even worry about it. Go get it. Hey, he's got something over here. He wants to trade up right now. Look, she's got something over there. Look at this. Look at this, the coffee drip. I really need a coffee drip. But let's see. Wow, let me see. Oh my goodness.
I have this amazing pour-over cup. Have you guys seen it?
I do. Wow. Well, wait a minute. Did you get something yet? All right. Well, wait a minute now. I did like this, but I wouldn't mind that because I could really use that. Yes. I could use the coffee pour over.
Can you?
Yes, I really can. I could. Yes. You said you didn't have time. It ain't like you got to keep that, but you better get some stuff to trade up. Oh, well, see, there it is. It's telling you something. Okay. Wow.
Guys, did you see this? It says, let your plans be known to God. What a great thing to take home tonight.
Jones, did you see that? You could trade your piece of paper for that right there. What does it say on it again?
It says, let your plans be known to God.
Hey, look. Wow. All right. So everybody, all attention up this way. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, which is great. But let's talk about it for a second. Think about what just happened. What lessons were learned in it? Come on now, say it again. If you don't what? If you don't get up, you don't get going. She said it's okay to say no. Now, let me ask you something. Why would you say no? Why would a person say no?
No, it's okay to say no because although something may look appealing, it may not necessarily be beneficial for you in the long run. So it's okay to say no and pass up what may seemingly be an opportunity to get to something better.
I hear you. Now listen to what she said. It's okay to say no if it's not going to benefit you. Sometimes we say yes because it looks shining, like that's the thing, but that's not always the case. But there was one little trick in all of this, and that was that dot. In all of this trading, what should have been in your mind when you were trading? What should have been in your mind when you went to that next trade? Say that again. Your goal. What else? Anybody else? I heard somebody else say something. I said your end goal. Your end goal. So you both are saying your end goal. You're exactly right. So it should never, go ahead.
You gotta get started somewhere.
You got to get started somewhere. And if you don't get up, you don't get moving. I just love that one. I'm going to so steal that, right? But, I mean, there were people that had nothing. That was, who made a trade tonight that didn't have nothing? Oh, look at that. Go ahead.
The exercise were inspired to, to be active and start over again and rebuild again.
Come on now.
And also to move on.
Yes.
It really drags you to the point that, hey, I can start something new now. Instead of sitting and not doing it. Because doing it, it brings that energy. That energy, it will really drag you to another open door, trading with somebody that you didn't expect it. Now you got the angels, you got the watch, you got the coffee maker. I mean, did I expect a coffee maker tonight?
No, I didn't even see it. I was like, people were like, let's make a deal,
And when she came in with, trade with him, and then the wife said, are you serious? Are you going to trade the coffee maker? I need the coffee maker.
Right.
But it was kind of like, hey, I'm not going to take that coffee maker. I'm going to take it away, but she wants it back. Right. And listen how you're starting to communicate. What does it take? She stood up and she said, hey, let me just go ahead. Let me tell you that the strongest person in the room is the first person that will follow the first person who speaks. Yeah. It's the first person who follows the person who speaks. It takes some courage to get up to speak, but you got to have followers, right? And that's where the message starts to come in. But as I was watching all of this, the most important thing to think about is, how is this going to help me to get to my goal? That nothing in here that you traded should have been the end of the story. Because now we limit ourselves. It's like, oh, I have to have this. This is one thing. I can't split it up. It ain't like I could take one of the angels, I have to be able to let go and go up and keep going. Yes.
I traded down. So I got these super cool earrings. I traded down. I started with 2 things and now I have 3. And I got these super cool earrings that I have a friend in mind, and I know that I'm going to be able to get something super better than what I started with. And sometimes I think that's it, right? Like sometimes we have to go down to get the experience that we wouldn't have been able to get otherwise, right? And sometimes it can save time by being willing to go down to learn.
Yes. There are times that I've been knocked down.
Yeah.
I've been knocked down. But instead of staying down, I took that as a lesson to figure out what got me down here and what do I need to do to get back up. The other thing is This is a symbol of achievement. But this is what I always say. When you get to the top of the mountain, it only makes it easier to see the next summit. You never stop. Those who stop get stuck. When are you going to go to that next place instead of saying, I have arrived? What does that mean? It is something where we have to keep going. You do not stop, because once you stop, you're done. So that trade, it's really important that you strategic. This is strategic in what you're doing. You strategically trade like you did, and you have something in mind of, wow, okay, if I get this, what can I do with it? When you said, I don't know about this coffee, I gotta eat. I'm just gonna do that, right? I might not need a coffee maker. It's not about you needing it. It's about that being a way into where you're going next. Go ahead.
And also the practice of the activity. It really practical. Put yourself together and then start moving on. And it's exercising about your vision, because your destination is already there. I want to get there.
Yes.
Now, how can you get there? And by doing this exercise, do you believe on this exercise?
Oh.
Do you believe?
You just made the greatest segue into what's next. To get any and everything you want. Think about what came out of this today. People were pulling out boxes. We started with a red paper clip. The Goodwill does it all day long. They make money off of free stuff. When you say you don't have it, when your kids are going hungry, yes. It's amazing to me. When you say, I don't have it, you can make something out of nothing. You proved that tonight. You proved it. So guess what we're getting ready to do? We're going to really prove it. On that piece of paper where it says the future story, we come back together January what? 18th. So that's giving you about what, 2 months to do some more trading? What is going to be your goal? I want you to think for a moment, what is it that I am going to have when I come in on that date? What is it that you really are going to strive for? Now you really have to be strategic. This is where that goal, that dot really is, because you're going to write it down. And I want everybody to write down something, because I'm going to go through this room and find out what you wrote. What is it going to be? I had someone to say, I want to have an iPad for my son. And I was thinking, oh, goodness gracious. This was like the first time we did it that way, and I thought, woo, okay. And somebody else said, I want a guitar, because I want to learn how to play the guitar. Someone else said, I want new windows around my entire house. I know. That, when she said that, my knees kind of got a little weak. I was like, woo! Don't hold me responsible for this. Every single one got exactly what they went out to get, including the windows. I know, right? You can connect you with that person, because that actually happened the night of a graduation. And she stood up and she spoke and she said, I know this is the last night, but I'm still not going to give up. This is what I really want. Not what I wanted, what I really want. And I'm going to go to the last second to get it. And there was a lady there who her husband does windows, and gave her a full set for her entire house because of the people you know when you don't stop and you talk to. But it takes you, how much am I going to step out of my comfort zone? How much communication am I really going to do? How am I going to go deep inside of me and come out as me to be whatever it's going to take to get there? How will you not give up? So write down, what is it for you? What is something that you want? And be realistic, because if you say a house, you got some serious work to do. If you get that, I'm going to hire you. I don't even know where I'm going to get the money, but I'm going to hire you. But I want you to be, but then at the same time, I don't want you to go like a house, but I don't want you to also say, a what? A pair of socks. Yeah, no. Stretch yourself. So I want everybody to write it down. I'm going to go through and I'm going to ask you to say it very quickly. What did you write down? What did you write down? What is it that you really want? What is it that you really want?
Are we doing this together, or is it my separate thing and his separate?
Totally up to you. Totally up to
Really
you.
looking at challenging yourself. Some of you have talked about you need to go back to school. You want a different job. You need to get some additional training. You want to get your kids in certain programs or whatever. So think about how do you go about doing that. So make it realistic. Don't do just put something down because you know we're asking you to do it, but think about something that's important to you, important to your family. And it doesn't mean that you're going to do it by yourself. You may do it as a family unit. So it may be something that you're going to do collectively, and that's great as well. But think about something that, we've talked about this, and we keep putting it off. We keep putting it off. We keep saying, we'll get to it. Well, I always say, tomorrow's not promised. And if it's something that's really important to you, then make it important by putting it as your A priority and looking at how do I make that A priority a reality.
Absolutely. That was fantastic, because this is what it's all about. Every single time that I go out and I do trainings, I do not do it to waste anybody's time, because it takes up a lot of time. I do it because I want to take passion into action. I want to see things done. And this is the reason why people keep saying, oh, we want you to come back, because somebody did something with what I said. What are you going to do? And if you don't, even if you didn't write down something, ask yourself why. Why? What's going on? Some people might say, I got anxiety, I can't. Well, you just named it. You just named your limitation. Don't claim it. Go past it. Fight for it. If you can't, get somebody who can. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, scoot. If you can't scoot, yell, tell somebody, put smoke signals, do something. Don't stop. Yes.
An older lady in my dad's church used to say, you name it, you claim it.
You name it, you claim it. Because as soon as you put it out there, it's out there now. It didn't exist until you put it out there. Now it starts to solidify into something. So you're right. What'd you write down? What did you write down? Write it down. What is it that you want? And let's see if we get there. What did you write down? What did you write down? What table am I going to start with? Because I'm going to just go around the room. People are like this, don't look. Okay, great, yes. So we're going to go here. We're going to zigzag this way. So
collectively,
listen up.
we have been talking about for a long time, we have a big open space upstairs, putting our boys up there. And building building a big room up there for them. Collectively, we want to do that. I want to kind of do on my own, figure out a way that we have a son who is very, very gifted at doing Rubik's Cubes. He's extremely fast, and he can go to competitions to compete. So we want to travel and be able to take him to these. We actually had one booked in Houston, and they canceled it. So now he's actually competing this weekend here in Colorado Springs, but there's other ones all over the United States that, I mean, the kid is, I've never seen anybody solve one so fast.
That is outstanding. All right, all right. Okay,
Those are our two.
fantastic. And I'm going to sharpen all of your goals after I hear all of them. So we're going to quickly go through because it's 7:37. So we want to make sure that we get through. Right at this table. Let's go this way. Go ahead. New windows for the house. Okay, all right.
I like it. A new couch.
A new couch.
We got my husband's aunt a lot in Honduras because she lost her home in a hurricane. So we want to build her a house.
Build her a house.
It's like $3,000 to build her a house.
Okay, all right, all right. Say that again. To get a Lamborghini Hurricane. Now, is this a real car? Like, by January? You go, look, yes. All right. I want to ride in it when you get it. I want to ride in it. Okay, all right. I'm going over here, this table over here. What is it? Yes. You want to restart your master's. Okay. A what? A laptop. Yes, yes. Are y'all doing it collectively? Each person is separately? What do you have?
Time to do my own stuff.
Time to do your own stuff. Woo! Freedom. Do you have something? Okay, all right, all right. That means you got to help her to make the time. All right, all right. Okay, let's go to this table here. Save $3,000. Okay. A bigger place. Okay. Send her to cheer camp. Pay your car off. Repair your car. All right. What about you? This little one right here.
To complete college by January?
Well, think about it. Okay, think about it. Right here.
Electric guitar for my son.
Electric guitar for your son. All right.
A keyboard.
A what?
Keyboard.
A keyboard.
Shuffleboard table for my kids.
Oh, yes. Okay. Over here.
An iPad.
An iPad.
King size bed.
Okay.
Yeah, and he wants a Nintendo Switch.
Okay. A king size bed and a Nintendo Switch. All right.
I want to go on a road trip to Virginia with my kids.
Nice. Nice. Okay. All right.
I want to pick up where I left off with my minor and finish learning Spanish.
Ooh, yes, 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 yes. Okay. Over here, this table.
Working towards a truck.
Oh, yes.
And if we get time, I kind of want to do a success story with all of this process that has been combined.
Nice. Nice. Did you come up with anything?
I did. By January, I want to be able to compete more, like seriously. I do Ninja Warrior.
Compete in what?
Ninja Warrior.
Oh, if you go with your pants out. Yes. All right.
A front porch rocking chair.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna finally get my windows, my two big broken windows fixed.
Okay. All right.
I want my yard to be finished it and then didn't come back. So.
Lord have mercy. I do understand that. Yes. A lot of people are going through that. This table back here.
I had a really hard time figuring that out because I don't really think I want much. But maybe if I could get a couch?
Okay. A couch?
A different couch. My cat tore up my couch.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Something that would better my family, just like home improvements around the house, and also money towards, my niece is getting married in March, so money towards her.
Okay. All right.
I want a less stressful job that gives me more time with my kids.
Okay.
I'd like an elliptical.
Say that again.
An elliptical?
An elliptical. Whew. Oh, wow. Well, there you go.
New lawnmower.
A new lawnmower. Okay. Over here.
We want to paint our cabinets in our kitchen.
All right. Okay.
I have lots of things written down. I think my two things would be, one of my kids really wants to be in like, go for like acting lessons. So get her in acting lessons, and then just when you're talking like bigger goals, I just have this like care package business. So I'd like to send maybe 100 by Christmas. We've done like 35 the last couple of years. So just for anybody that's lost somebody at Christmas to send 100 this year.
Okay. All right. Anybody else at this table? Yeah. Okay.
By January, my son's really like to play basketball, so he's looking for camp, but before that, he has very bad knee pain. We don't know what's going on, so we're diagnosed for that.
Okay.
That's heavy for him.
Okay.
And mom hard, because he really wants to play, but he's in a lot of pain all the time.
Ugh. Yep. Okay.
I put family vacation overseas for enough money to do one. Like an actual vacation, not just a trip.
Okay. All right. Over here.
Oh, a four-wheeler or a go-kart.
A go-kart or what?
Or a four-wheeler.
Okay. Got it.
I don't know. I've been thinking, I don't know.
Okay.
Probably it's to find a receptionist for the business.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
My goal is to hire a service to organize my home.
To hire a service to organize your home.
Right here, I got you.
Wow. That one over there, I mean, you know. You got anybody clean a house for about $80? I mean, you know. Okay, so, did you hear that? Okay, so here it is. This is what I want you to do. I want you to think about what your goal actually is. And I want you to imagine somebody giving you that based on something you traded for. So if you can't figure that out, that means that you did not decide on something that was specific. It has to be specific what it is that you want. You have to be clear. That's how life is. Be clear what it is that you want. You have to be very specific, and it has to be tangible. You can't just trade up just like a dream. I want to be in love. How do you trade for love? You know what I mean? So by a show of hands, how many of you have something that is so specific that you could actually identify exactly what it is that you want, that is that specific? Raise your hand if it's specific. If your hand is not raised, you've got to go back and think about what are you really saying? Because it's too abstract, it's too broad. The second thing is, It has to be tangible, meaning that somebody could literally hand it to you and you can literally hand them something. So you can't just, like if you say, because a couple people said, I want to hire a receptionist. How do you trade for that? Maybe, and it could be a trade. You do this for me and I will do this for you. So you have to be very clear. So how many of you, whatever it is that you have, it's tangible? Okay. So looking around the room, there are several people who did not raise their hand. Yeah.
With tangible though, like raking leaves, technically that's tangible. Is that, like even though it's a service, is that counted?
So tell me a little bit more, like when you say raking leaves.
So I do, that's basically part of my story is I do jobs and I get things in return.
Yes, but that's one trade. Like if you're going to trade up, right? How do you get, and you can, because it is tangible. You just have to think, how do you get to a point that you're trading something that was given to you to trade up? Do you see what I mean? So it has to be, it's got to be a continuous stream. Now, what you just said has just opened up the doors to the possibilities of what's possible. So you could say, I can trade, me raking leaves to get something I want. Keep going. Keep doing that. But for the game, you have to be able to have a continuous string. What is it that you are trading that eventually will get you to whatever it is that you want? So those are the things that I want you to really think about. Make it solid. Make it real. I'm anxious to see you when you come back in January to see what you have achieved. Now, some of you may have written down something and then you go and you say, I really thought about this. And this is what I really want. Somebody said, I want more time to myself, right? But you got to think about how are you going to trade from one thing to another to get to that point? And it's possible, but you have to be very clear on how that's going to happen. What does that really look like? What does it mean to have that free time to yourself? What does that look like? What are you going to need for that to happen? Being very clear. Let me make sure on the time. It is getting close. Did you have some announcements that you wanted to make or anything? Okay. So this stuff is not easy. We live oftentimes in the tyranny of the moment. The tyranny of the moment is we're constantly putting out fires. We're trying to deal with this. We don't have time to go on that real vacation because we'll take a quick trip, come back, got to do this, move over here. And with all that has happened to all of us over the past 19 months, it has really taken up so much of our time, so much of our mental time. With that being the case, we have to decide, how do we navigate through all of that? What is it that we're going to have to do? Well, you have to move from the concrete way of thinking. When you think of just right what's in front of you, that this is what I want, and it's right here, that's a concrete thinker. That's a concrete way of thinking, and it's very limited. But when you take something that is concrete and you move it into the abstract of the things that could be, like you said, raking leaves, now you're out here in the abstract. That's the possibilities. And then you bring it back and make it concrete. How am I going to do that? How am I going to make those steps? And for any one of you who come here and you don't get there, if you got anywhere, you're further than you were tonight. But if you don't even try, who are you giving up on? Yourself and who else? Anybody who cares about you. Because people are watching you every moment. Everything that you do, people are watching you to see what do you do. People learn from you. Makes a huge difference. You either stop or you go. What is it going to be? And none of it's going to be comfortable. But if you can do this in January, imagine what you can do 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Maybe not trading a red paper clip, but trading your talent, trading your knowledge, trading your skills, that you would be able to do that. But you are going to have to decide what is that. Keep a journal. Write down, what are the things that's limiting me? Because it will tell you why you haven't gotten any further. A couple years back, my sister and I presented for Parents Challenge, and we were doing the food, the diets, and everything. And there was this really neat question. What would you consider your fitness best? To be at your fitness best. And when do you want to get there? When do you want to get to your fitness best? And there were people that would say, oh, if I could lift this many, pounds, or if I could lose this much weight, and if I could do it by June. So the question was, then what are you going to do in July? That was a concrete way of thinking. But the bigger question said, now this is abstract. How old do you want to live to be? And what do you want to look like and feel like on that day? And the people who said, I want to live to be 65. I want to live to be 80. And I asked the question, why? Well, that's as long as my parents lived. Concrete. Well, because I don't want to be, when you get into, a certain age, then you're old, you're uncomfortable, you don't remember, because I know that that's how my parents were. That's concrete. When you can get past that and say, I want to live to be 102, 120, and I want to look healthy, I want to feel healthy, I want to be independent in my thinking and in my physical self, then guess what? Everything you do today is for then. The way you eat, the way you sleep, the way you speak, everything that you do is for this out here. That's how you set the goal. So say you die at 90. Did you lose? No, because guess what? You was living great all the way up until that day, as opposed to feeling bad starting way back here. So you've got to stretch your mind past what's in front of you and see what doesn't even exist yet. Maybe you've never seen it in your own family, but you are going to achieve that dream. You will do that. It will just happen. My sister is building a new house right now. And she was like, oh my goodness, I really want some nice furniture and I want to get it from these places, but I don't have that kind of money. I said, that doesn't mean you can't get it. And she's looking at me like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm telling you. So we went up this weekend to this store that's really expensive. And she's been looking at this one carpet. She just loves it. The carpet was, the original price was $2,560. They had it on sale for $2,000. And she's like, that ain't gonna work for me. That ain't gonna happen. I went up there today because I had to go pick up some other stuff. And I went up there today, and it had this red tag on there that said floor sample, and the floor sample was for $200. That's over 90, I mean, look at that, 90% off. I grabbed that thing so quick, I was like, Christmas, she gonna have a big old Christmas present. But you know, you see what I'm saying? Like, if you limit yourself, you won't even look in the spaces and places that are possible. Everything is possible if you decide to. And the moment you give yourself an excuse, well, nah, I ain't doing, guess what? You're not. So I'm going to take these last 3 minutes and I'm going to just open it up for questions or comments. I want to hear from you. I want to know what's going on in here. So I'm pausing.
I think one of the things that holds me back is I have all these like skills and talents and knowledge, but like she was saying, I don't know how to translate that into asking for a compensation for it. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
I feel greedy by marketing myself individually.
People will pay what you're worth, and you just act like
You
you're worth it.
look, you need to be up here teaching this class.
I quit my job. I was paid over $50,000 a year. I have no job right now, and I made $20,000 in the last 2 months.
Look. Once you know what your worth is. So as I'm writing these things down, it'll help me to decide what to talk about in January. And that's really powerful because what you're just saying right there is right. The switch has to come on. And that's the problem because you realized what your worth was and you were like, I can go out and do this, but it's what is that switch to turn that on that we will definitely talk about. And I definitely hope that you're here so that you can do some conversations with me. That would be awesome. That's awesome. Yes.
I think that fear is a really tangible element, but I also think that moving past that fear gives you more empowerment to strive for greater things and look at bigger goals. So I think this is like a step in the direction of, well, this is something that we're touching on as tangible items, but looking to the future, some things that are bigger than what you can put on a piece of paper, or what you can tangibly hold in your hands per se, or a physical thing. But having greater goals in mind puts you in a place where that goal becomes a bigger goal, which becomes a bigger goal, which becomes a bigger goal. And the whole point is just to move forward, right? And so I think that that's what I'm getting from that is, you know, I had a conversation with somebody about, I just don't know what I want. And what I was gathering from that was, you know, to put something tangibly on a piece of paper is a really hard thing to do. But if it's something that you really, really want, you look for avenues and ways of getting to that goal, even if it's not some tangible thing. So, you know, all of us look at materialistic things like, oh, that's something I would like to have, but it's not as significant as maybe a bigger goal that you feel is like unreachable. But if you start with maybe something like this, it seems like it could only just, you know, like a moving train, go further and further, however far we want to take it.
Yes.
So that's what I gathered from that.
I love that, and you're exactly right. And we'll talk about that even more in January. Thank you for that. A couple more things. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. What I did with the red paperclip, you know, trading and asking for things, that was not my thing. So I started thinking of what I will do to motivate me to do something with it, right? So I would just think for probably half a month. And what happened, it's just, I know my goal, what it is, to be educated for a better job.
Yeah.
So I think I went to Facebook and someone of my friends posted scholarships for to educate that UC Health was giving. So I was like, this is good. So, but it was a scholarship that it costs money, so I didn't know if I was going to get the scholarship. So just by showing up and showing what I wanted to do and what I was doing right now, currently that I'm taking theology for almost 4 years, but in English. So I wanted something to connect it in Spanish, to understand more.
Yes.
So I got that. That's the class that I'm taking.
Yes.
So I collect all the books. I'm taking more Spanish classes to understand the Bible. So I know what I want, and I got everything set up. So that's what I wanted to share with you.
That is so good. That is awesome. We're going to close out with Jones.
The power of the positive mind, like you said, I really inspire in your story, because you practice the positive mind. Even your sister don't believe what you said. $2,000, I don't have that money.
Yeah.
But you still drive because of that positive mind. It opens up. And now when you go out, before you go in that store, you already believe that there's something out there. It will bring that opportunity
Yes.
to get that reward that you want from what you want for.
Yes.
So on your story, the power of that mindset, that positive mind, even though you see all the roadblocks, even your sister told you, hey, you cannot make it. Your sister told you.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and then you're still going and say, you know what? Now, let me go there. I think there is something there. And then right there, the opportunity. Just jump in because of that mindset, positive mind.
Yes.
And if we practice that, if sometimes people just give up when they reach that, go there, and what they were thinking is not working, but move on and try to keep on and move on and just maintain that attitude of positive mind.
That's right. The maintaining the positive mind is all about the listening. You gotta listen deep inside, because you will find the answers. Yourself is telling you. You just have to listen. It's going to tell you why you haven't gotten there yet, and why you do. You're like, why am I so lucky? You're not lucky. It's you. So listen. So thank you again for having me yet again. I love this every time. Thank you. Thank you.
So before we close up, just a couple things, is just a reminder. You are the only one who has your DNA. So
Come on.
if you don't do what you are expected to do, it won't happen.
Come on now.
Nobody else has your DNA but you. Fear, false evidence appearing real.
Oh, I love it. I love
That's what fear
it. Yes.
is. Because a lot of times we have no idea. I've never been skydiving, but I'm fearful of doing it. That's false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
Because I'm just assuming that I'm going to crash, but I have no idea if that's going to happen. So sometimes we have to step out of that to see what the possibilities are. But whatever it is that you wrote down on that piece of paper, or whatever it is that you've got in your mind, and thank you, Jones, for that, is it's not going to happen unless you do it. Because it's yours. It's yours. So dream big. Don't limit yourself. Because when one obstacle happens, you might run into it, but you can go around it, you can go over it, you can go under it,
Come
or
on,
you can
man.
blow it up.
There you go. There you go.
Therefore, it's no longer an obstacle.
That's right.
Only an obstacle if you allow it to be one. All right, we've got 3 people for door prizes. Schultz, Slade, and Williams. Our 3 door prize winners tonight. I hope what we're doing here is good. Because you guys don't have to go to 6 sessions. You only have to go to 3. But you got something even bigger to do. And that is walk know what it is. I just know what my DNA is. So I'm walking in my purpose. And whatever yours is, try to figure that out. Try to figure that out. So you're not stumbling and bumbling and just giving up on yourself. Your children are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Your children are watching. And they're learning from you. When you give up,
They give
then
up.
they think it's okay to give up. When they run into obstacles, and they say, oh, this is not going to work, and you say, well, okay, you've done your best. Don't do that. Tell them, what is it that we're working towards? Let's figure it out. It's possible. Have a great evening. And we'll see you on January 19th. All right.